Welcome back to The Watch. And Oz, there is a video that has gotten a decent amount of attention lately, about 500,000 views, entitled, I Lost My Job to AI This Week. Now, I'm not saying that people will not be losing their jobs to AI. They will be, okay? The thing that I've been saying for like, over a year now, is that if you are in an industry that looks like it could be threatened by the change of technology and AI being developed, right? There is a way to secure your employability into the future by finding out how to use this technology with your skills.
Yes, be trans or gay. Oh, wait.
No.
Use the technology.
Use the technology.
Okay, but that is a way.
That is a way that doesn't have it has diminishing returns. That's way, let's just say.
Yeah.
Skill will usually, come out on top. Is so long as it's relevant, though. But one of the things I've been saying is that people who are talented, who have artistic or graphic ability or stuff like that, they are the ones who will be able to make the best AI art, AI works on a commercial scale or endeavor, better than just randoms picking it up. And so they were the ones who were in the best places to benefit from this because they have pre-existing skills that this current AI technology, and it's going to be like this for a while, needs to make the best stuff, okay? You need to apply artistic ability because there's so many limitations to AI technology. You just need to learn about it, right?
That's the thing about businesses, right? Is like they don't really care how you make a thing as long as the thing comes out good and, is of value. You could snap it into existence with your mind and someone will buy and sell it if they can,
So this individual, and this is from a YouTube channel named
Nade Straight,
right? There's actually a much more obvious reason why he was fired. And he says it in this video. And I find it astounding that he let slip what he has actually been doing in his job and then is trying to blame AI for him losing his job.
Okay.
This really comes off, and we'll show you, we'll go through some of this video, this really comes off as trying to use the AI boogeyman as an excuse for his own lack of effort, really. But I'm not kidding. Look, he says he only does 2 hours work and getting paid for 8 hours time, right? He says it in this, we'll show you, right? And so when I say effort, that's what I mean. He's literally been cheating his employer, right? Getting paid for doing nothing, and then he's complaining, I got fired and my job was taken by AI. Let's listen to him.
To AI, which is very unfortunate.
Now, he says he lost his job to AI. This is actually based on rumor. But, it's pretty easy to latch onto it and make a video out of it and then get lots of attention for it when there's actually a much more prominent reason why he might have gotten fired.
I think many people joke about the fact that, AI is going to take all our jobs and we're all going to get replaced, and especially within my industry.
Not joking, that is actually a concern, and I think it's a legitimate concern. As I've been saying, though, if people want to ensure their employability, use it, because this is there's a lie baked into the title. Okay, he says, I lost my job to AI this week. Is there like a independent artificial system that replaced him that's running autonomously on its own?
Nope.
What how did he actually get replaced, do you think, Oz?
He refused to pick up the tool that the entire industry should be adopting.
Yeah, but what was he replaced by?
A diverse person.
No. He was replaced by
a diverse person who uses AI.
That might be true. At least, definitely a person, but a person using AI.
Yeah.
This is not like, AI is destroying all these jobs. It's actually creating new jobs, and it's requiring new people, all right, who have a new talent, skill pool and everything like that. And it is becoming the adapt or die thing, right? And I face this on YouTube all the time, and we got to adapt or die. And I know that it might be short-lived, all right? And if it ends, I'm very grateful for the time, and I've said this in multiple videos, very grateful for the time I've been able to do this, being very lucky to be able to do it. I'll have to then find another way to make a living, and maybe it might be utilizing AI in helping up video production or something like that.
It's like that movie Cinderella said, death can come for us at any time. So all we can do is have courage and be kind.
It's a good movie.
Get laid too.
Well, that's not in the movie, but
Get paid, get laid, Gatorade.
Sure, Oz.
Which is graphic design.
So he's in graphic
My job, I've been a graphic designer for the past 8 years of my life. And I've worked at this specific company for 6 years. So you would think that...
Well, so he's made a living for 8 years as a graphic
being one of the longest running employees, being there 6 years, having a wage increase almost every year and being very much valued because I was the only graphic designer left.
He was the only graphic designer left. Okay. And so...
What? I was just thinking, first they came for every single other graphic designer, but I said nothing because I wasn't those other graphic designers.
They were fired for whatever reason, but now I'm fired. I will now complain about AI, and I don't think the other graphic designers will let go because of AI. It's by the context that is framing here. It sounds like that for over the 6 years that he's working at the company, other graphic designers will let go, and he was kept because he was just that damn good. Okay, but what this also, remember that people are thinking that AI is going to reduce the amount of jobs available to people, when no, if he was the only graphic designer left and he got fired and being replaced by AI, he was replaced by a person who was using AI, helping the company. And so the company is still employing as many people, but now is able to get more output.
Ah, good point.
You'd think they want to keep me on as much as possible. I mean, I barely was allowed to take holiday because I was the only designer. So if I was off, then nobody could cover for me, and the company ended up with...
That's also a detriment to you. If you're that needed, if you're that big a chess piece, they'll just replace you with one that is more
flexible.
Exactly.
Work stacking up. However, over the past...
And stuff, he says there was all this work stacking up, but then he would say they would only give him, a certain amount of work that would take 2 hours to do a day. But then they said they had all his work stacking up when he couldn't take time off. So you know what that means?
He's putting them behind by not doing the entire
But he's also telling them that it's taking a full day's work to do this 2 hour amount, so much so that work is stacking up.
Yeah, putting them behind.
And he can't take time off, right? Because he's looking for a way to lie to his employee and do the minimal effort possible. Listen to what he goes on to say.
Past 3 months, I'd say, I've noticed that my schedule at the company became less and less cluttered, and it got to the point where I was getting paid for a 7-hour and 30-minute day, and some days only doing 2 hours of work, which obviously...
That's getting paid for a 7-hour day and doing 2 hours of work, right? And it sounds like he didn't tell his employee that at all. And what it seems like, he's getting less and less work, right? Because they have this backlog and is only handing in so much. That's almost telling the employee, this is my limit. Don't give me extra work because I'm only ever handing in this exact amount, which is minimal effort stuff. It's only taking 2 hours, but it's saying, oh, this was my day's work, 8 hours work, right? Okay. And so is it a wonder that it was getting less work then? Because they're starting to see this guy isn't really, performing. And especially if they just ask another graphic designer, say, how long would it take you to do this work if you had a template? And they say, oh, probably 2 hours. It's taking this guy all day. But he admits 2 hours work, getting paid for 7.5 hours a day. That is so dishonest.
Obviously, it was great for me. I loved it. Got up at 9 o'clock because it was work from home as well. I'd do 2 hours of work and I'd have nothing left to do for the rest of the day. Maybe some revisions / amends would come in at 3 or 4 o'clock. I'd do those for 20-30 minutes and that'd be my day.
That's why working from home can be a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's no accountability. No one looking over his shoulder, making sure that he's actually working. It's like, oh, you're... And then, a good employee, right, once they're given the work and they finish, it's like, well, I shouldn't be getting paid for nothing. That would be dishonest. They would go to the employee saying, I did the stuff that you assigned me.
Theft.
Yeah, it's theft.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more for me to do? And maybe that would have ensured your employment more, because they're saying that they needed a faster turnaround and AI is enabling to get a faster turnaround when he's literally been slacking off for 5 hours in the day doing piss all, getting paid for it, and then he has the gall to complain that AI took his job because they needed a faster turnaround.
There is one thing that I'll slightly give him a little bit of a, is that in modern work culture, there's no real incentive to go above and beyond.
There should be incentive.
Yeah, there should. If you do something, if he does
But
job in 2 hours,
the incentive is getting friggin' paid. It's because there was no accountability, and he found that he could get away with getting paid for doing nothing, and that's where there was no incentive now.
yes, but if there was the smallest incentive for getting something done quicker than your allotted time, because if you do something in your allotted time, if you do something in the first 10 minutes, then you're just gonna get more and more work. But if you get like just a little crumb extra,
You know what the incentive that he found out was? Getting fired.
Well, good point.
Like, if the employee finds out that, hang on, I've been paying you for nothing, what am I getting? Yeah, of course I'm going to fire you.
All right. But in the interest of unity, what if there was just the tiniest bit more to justify him being like, yes, I got it done now?
I mean, it could be based on contract work per project.
Yeah.
And then if they value the what you produce in your workflow to be this amount, and they'll pay you this amount per handed in piece of work, they don't care how long it takes. It could take you 10 minutes or whatever, as long as it gets done. Some people don't like that because there are some projects that sometimes can take much longer amounts of work, and then they end up getting paid far less than they would have been paid if it was on an hourly rate.
But if someone can save me time, then I would happily give them $5 more rather than...
Well, maybe they're like, that's right. But maybe, we don't know, but there could have been incentives for handing in, work faster. He just seems to like, oh, they're paying me the same amount and I'm only doing 2 hours of work at home. Oh, it's great for me. Is what an awesome thing.
Yeah, he's clearly a very flawed human being. He's playing Halo Infinite, which I mistook for Overwatch because they look identical.
I'd essentially do between 2 and 3 hours of work and get paid for 7.5.
Which is you being a retard, mate.
I mean, he is saying that, like, isn't this great? And does he not realize how friggin' lazy and low that is? He's stealing from his employee. Like,
great for like 3 or 4 months. And then, on Monday this week, I got told that I'm being made redundant. And I was thinking, how could this be possible?
How could this be possible? I'm only doing 2 hours work in an 8-hour day.
I'm wasting my boss's money and time? I'm being him in this situation.
Yeah.
How could this happen?
Listen to what he says at the end. I need to jump because this book ends what he was saying here, because it's another mask off moment where he basically admits a philosophy that he clearly feels is okay with.
Goodbye. If you're a graphic designer watching this as well, man, I highly, highly recommend learning some new skills while you can. And don't ever template things. Don't provide the company you work for the templates. Claim your work takes longer than it does, so that you can have time to yourself.
Claim your work takes longer than it does.
There are smarter alternatives that don't waste everyone's time and get you fired.
Like, he's trying to encourage people to be low effort employees, right? Do the minimal effort possible. Claim your work takes longer than what it really does, so then you can rob your employee of money and get paid for doing nothing, right? And it's like, gee, was it really the company just not assigning him enough work in the day, where he, it's only 2 hours work and they're not assigning me any more, so I guess I'll do nothing, get paid for it? Or was it him claiming that 2 hours took much longer than what it really did? He just told other graphic designers to do that. So that's clearly what he's been doing. It's friggin' full of it.
And vindictive.
Right? And then again, he has the golden... AI is a scapegoat for him. It's like, AI took my job. I've been a really crappy employee that's been robbing my employee, doing work for nothing, getting paid for nothing, sorry. Oh, but AI took... Right? But even AI taking his job seems very dubious. Listen to where this information came from.
And then I did a bit of digging, asked a few people, and it turns out basically all of the material that I've provided over the past 6 years is now being fed to AI and templated. So a design that would take me 30 minutes now takes AI 30 seconds.
So he asked a few people. This isn't real actual confirmation. He didn't say there was a memo from the business that was confirming that was what they're doing and stuff like that. He is just saying his templates were fed into an AI. It's like, most likely, like graphic design templates, right? They're not actually that rare. Okay. Even if they use his templates, the business paid for them.
Yeah.
It's their templates.
That's why you got to be careful what you do on company time versus your own time.
Yes. Like, so he made work being paid for it. He made templates while being paid by a company. And then is saying they took my templates and trained an AI off of them like they didn't have his consent. When they paid for those templates, it's the friggin' company's thing now.
Yep.
And so again, this framing just is so disingenuous, and it's all structured to deflect from the fact that he's been robbing from his employee, essentially, right? And using the boogeyman of AI to deflect away from his own inadequacies and for being fired justly, from what appears.
In his defense, it is awfully convenient for him to say that.
It is. It's very easy and convenient. It means he doesn't have to improve. He can deflect. He doesn't have to admit that he's been essentially robbing from his employee.
And clout.
Yeah. Well, and he's got now a video that has 500,000 views where all the AI haters just get confirmation bias on, their displeasure for it, when they don't realize that there's huge opportunity to benefit so many people if they want to use this technology, and it could have benefited him, right? He could have been that employee. Because remember, he wasn't replaced by AI. He was replaced by a person, an AI artist who knows how to use the technology. He could have been that person and applied his graphic design ability to make way better graphic design stuff with this technology than any other person who's using the technology that doesn't have the graphic design background.
Yeah.
Okay? Like it's bonkers that this technology is freely available. And I mean, freely available, right? To so many people who are working in creative industries, if it's graphic design, art, or whatever, right? And it's opportunity to not abandon their artistic pursuits, but they can use it to enhance workflow, output, just so many different things. And so many artists are already okay with using automated computer processes like the cloud filter or any other filters on Photoshop. Most of them are already powered by AI technology, by the way, right? But generative AI, a lot of them is generative AI now. Photoshop is already integrated seamlessly with it. But they think that that's different to generative AI and stuff, and then they don't want to touch it, even though it's right there. People are going to use it, right? The warning signs have been there for ages, and people like me have been saying, guys, this is a game-changing technology. People are going to be using it. If you want to ensure your employment, start figuring out how to incorporate it. And this guy could smash me. If he's been working for, 6 to 8 years as a graphic designer, using this technology, he could smash the stuff I could make with it. But because he's not using it, me, as a lay casual graphic designer, because I do have some graphic design background, right? I would be able to produce much more quality content at a higher rate and speed than he could based on his own older methods, because I'm using AI. And I'm a less experienced person, and I could replace him now because I'm embracing this technology. I'm adapting with how it's moving. And by the way, there's already signs, there's videos and papers being made that this technology is starting to hit a peak. It's plateauing. So the fear-mongering, that this is going to replace all human skill, it turns out that actually might be false, where the limitations that are in AI are going to be around for a good while, and it's going to require a human working with it to get the best results, all right? To fix those mangled hands, to fix all the other problems that are coming up with it, right? Because there are constant problems like specificity, getting exact poses, and guiding it to the results you want needs someone who is familiar and talented in this technology, and then you can apply graphic design skill as well. You'll be at the top of the pile.
Yeah.
You'll be getting hired way more readily than the person that replaced this guy.
Yeah.
But again, he wants to lie and say, I was replaced by a soulless machine, essentially. It's just AI. No, you were replaced by a person. Okay? Because most predominantly was like, you've been a crappy employee that's been dragging your feet, turning in work like at a slow rate, and that you've mentioned that their things have been backing up, but to be giving you less. Wonder why? Because you've not been showing that you can do things faster, right? That might have been writing on the wall that something was going to change with your employment.
AI generated writing on the wall.
Yeah. But then he lost his job and he wonders why.
Yeah.
And then he talked to a couple of people and it's clearly AI. They're training models based on his templates. No, they're not his templates. They're his business templates.
Who at the company is training AI?
That's obviously a new employee. That could have been him. if you learn how to train models.
Yeah, but it's just
And it's not hard to learn this stuff, by the way.
It's not. I've done a couple, yeah.
I've trained a couple of models. Like, there are so many tutorials, so many people explaining how to use this technology in the most remarkable ways. Anyone can pick it up. If he knows how to use Photoshop, you know how to. You have the competency to learn how to train models and use, Automatic 1111 or Forge or Comfy UI.
Or even what do you call it? There's literally a Google Colab to just do the make Laura's easy.
It is so accessible, right? And he could have been the ones to train those models, okay? But again, he said that he made templates that he didn't share with anyone else because he wanted to hide the fact that he explains that he can now do these jobs at a much quicker rate because he builds off of the previous templates he made, and he didn't tell his employee to make them think that it's still taking 2 hours to make when it's really only taking half an hour.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Golden rule: work smarter, not harder. But the second golden rule is don't piss around with money people, because they know that there is no one more. What's the word I'm looking for? Frugal or scrupulous with their own money than a person who's very, very wealthy.
Or an employee that's struggling, right? And it's getting harder and harder to, balance the budgets. You start looking at where the money's going. I know. I have direct experience in that.
As it's been trained on all my templates, essentially I think it just literally reuses my templates, and then they can input the hex codes they want the email or the website.
Yeah, not just his, multiple, and they have every right to because they own that stuff.
If you made it on company time, it's theirs.
Designed to be, drag and drop in the client's logo, upload the client's font, and boom, it will generate my template but using their brand assets.
Yeah, that actually is not hard. And also, by the way, boom, they can generate their templates in it won't be a couple of seconds because it's refining and stuff, but still much faster than what he was putting out, especially what he was reporting. Oh, this is really taking me 8 hours, right? That's great for the company. The company was already getting ripped off by you.
Yeah, but
right?
also, what's so unique about this guy's work as a bloody graphic designer? He's 1 in 100 million graphic designers.
Yeah, and he's not entitled to them employing him, especially with him ripping off his employee and sucking off like this, right? And it's acting like he deserves this job. He deserves getting paid 7.5 hours for 2 hours work. He deserves it. Was great for him, remember? What a low life. Oh my gosh.
But, it makes sense from a business point of view, but it's extremely scummy.
He's saying it's scummy for them to drop him off to produce these assets, right? At a cheap more affordable rate. It's scummy for them to fire him, even though he was robbing them. Basically, it was scummy of them to do that.
Yeah, business is pretty simple. The person with the money wants to make more money, and he hires the people who make him either more money or save him money or create something of value. If you're a detriment to that, chances are they're going to find out pretty quick.
And he's admitted that he's been a freaking anchor. He's just been a money sink. Gosh, you deserve to get fired 2 years ago.
It puts me out of a job. My immediate thought was, well, let's go to some competitor companies and see if they're looking for designers. I've looked at between 10 and 15 competitors, and every single other competitor is doing the exact same thing.
So they're hiring AI artists who can probably also have a background in graphic design, by the way, and are producing things at a much higher rate. Again, he could have made himself employable if he started looking at this technology. And if he wants to find a way to be employable in the future, that's what he would need to start doing. Start figuring out how to incorporate AI stuff, because it's going to be faster and it produces great high quality, right? And if you apply your graphic design ability to it, you can be at the top of the pile there.
Yeah, because the person getting a potential employee isn't thinking, oh, AI. No, they're thinking, can this do the same thing in 30 seconds compared to you in 2 hours? Yes. Okay, well, then I'll do the guy who does that.
And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pull back output. What it also means is hang on, if this, if we can produce a higher quantity for a lower cost, it doesn't mean that they're going to pull it. It might also mean, well, then if we employ 3 additional people filling the amount that we're already spending, our output is now 300% more.
Yep.
Okay. So it creates opportunity for businesses to expand and produce vastly higher quantities of products and stuff they were able to do before, and that's why it's going to be so powerful for small companies to be able to compete with larger competitors.
Yeah,
like this technology is a game changer, and it brings so much opportunity. I'm not saying people aren't going to lose their jobs. What's very likely, though, is that it's going to create new jobs. That's what we've nearly seen with every industry, right? It's like, oh, automation takes away jobs. Who's going to do the automating now? Who's going to maintenance the robots? Who's going to work with the computers?
Yeah.
You know, there was a big outcry when the automatic sewing machine was made, and tailors, they literally stormed a factory and destroyed all the sewing machines.
Yeah,
all right, they were that angry that it was going to take their jobs.
Yep.
But guess what? It just created a new industry and more jobs, more output, cheaper clothes, more clothes available at a cheaper price. Therefore, they needed more people working on the sewing machines, and it actually created a booming industry in New York for clothing manufacture, right? Because of the sewing machine. And all these tailors that were afraid it was taking their jobs. Yes, it took their traditional jobs, but people who knew how to use the sewing machine got hired more.
And the people who stuck it out and were the best in the industry for tailoring became
a premium. Yeah. Do you reckon this guy was the best in the industry in graphic design?
Nah.
Yeah, I think the best in the industry is someone who was able to produce a lot of work for a certain amount of time, probably more work in the 8-hour period than he was producing in his 2-hour work and then saying it took 8 hours.
Yeah,
maybe they were the ones that probably kept their jobs.
Yeah, it's a reasonable thing to say the person with the highest work ethic probably has the highest level of skill.
Yeah.
Discipline.
So it makes sense, doesn't it?
Also, he's playing Halo Infinite, which I detest, and this is a horrible person.
And so he goes on to basically just essentially gaslight, right? Deflecting from his really low tier, low effort, minimum effort, employment, and just say, oh, AI bad.
If his work ethic is anything like the choice of game that he plays, this is a bad person.
It's up to 700,000 views, that video. And very high like to dislike, because it's confirmation bias for everyone who hates AI. See, it's taking the jobs. We told you it's going to take your jobs.
Hey,
AI bad. Hey. And look, they're stealing his templates. I was like, it's so much just gaslighting and fear-mongering, and this guy's literally using it as an excuse, right?
Yeah.
As a boogeyman to deflect why he got fired.
But I reject the they took our jobs thing, because by all accounts, another graphics designer
probably took his, like someone who's using AI and knows, but even if it wasn't a graphic designer, it's still someone. It's not like a net loss in the job market. It's a new industry creating new jobs, right? And again, like I say it again and again and again, if he was the one who learned the technology, he would be at the top of the pile in the skill market for AI because he's already a graphic designer.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like complementary other skill sets in other artistic fields are to AI art. It's crazy. Like if you apply graphic design and Photoshop ability to AI, you friggin' can make the best stuff.
Yeah, right to the top of the pile. Sorry. If you've seen the South Park episode that they took our jobs from, you know what the pile is.
All right, so this is his
soy boy.
This is his follow-up video, because his first one did really well. And what's next after losing his job to AI? Again, it's just using it as a deflection. It's like it was AI that took my job, not the fact that I was robbing my employee. Remember, and now what I'll do, and he's putting in like losing my job to AI as the primary title to try and just now get views. Now he's just trying to grift off of it.
And he's sunk as low as you can possibly go. He's playing Halo Infinite.
And remember, right? There's no super confirmation that this what he says. I talked to a couple of people and that's what they told me. It's like maybe the company is still hiring other graphic designers, right? He doesn't know if he was replaced by another graphic designer and they're also using AI. He just said, I was fired, right? And it's like, if the company found out that you were slacking off and getting paid for nothing, right? They would have fired you and they could still be utilizing your, the templates they paid for in AI development and stuff and hired someone to replace you as a graphic designer as well.
A bit more clarification on that situation, because I do see a lot of comments or aren't you entitled to royalties because you made these templates for them to use and stuff. That's just not how it works in the UK. I'm assuming a lot of you are...
Actually...
That's just not how it works across...
So in the UK, artists are actually entitled to ownership of their work.
This is different. He's doing graphic design work.
Oh, okay.
And they paid for the work, they own it. And he admits it here, right? Didn't say it in the last video. But then he's like, doesn't know. No, that's the same in the US and Australia.
American, and maybe it does work like that over there. I'm not 100% sure. But when you're employed by someone, any work that you produce under that company is therefore copyrighted by that company. I own nothing that I made at that company. I was designing for clients.
Because they paid for it.
They brought on. My task was simply design stuff, provide it, move on to the next project, and that's what I did for 6 years. These templates that I made originally were for myself. I realized that for like a
Listen to what this is where he again masks off about his philosophy. He realized that he can do the work much quicker. Well, and he'll explain, and then tell his employee it took longer.
better explanation. Clients would be onboarded, which meant that they get an email package, a microsite package, which was essentially like a small website, and a couple of email templates to use to get them going.
You're getting triggered by the gameplay.
No, I'm getting triggered by his graphic. Like, they employ people for that? That's graphic design work?
No, I think that was just a information packet, not the actual.
That's so...
in their marketing campaigns, right? That's the basic summary. And every single time I would make one of these setups to onboard somebody, it would take me 3-4 hours to do so. And I thought, how can I speed this up? So I just made a template, which I would then reuse 100 times over. So a lot of these clients ended up having like the same template, but what it meant is that work could be done in 1 hour, maybe even 45 minutes.
So he reduces workflow from like 2 hours to maybe 45 minutes, right? If he told his employee, like, oh, I got it faster, give me more work, the employer's like, good work, I will keep you around. Instead, no.
In some cases, even 30 minutes for these
30
onboarding setups, which meant that it got to the point where I was doing 3 hours work and getting paid for 7 and 30 minutes.
See? And this is so freaking dishonest and scummy, right? But he thinks it's okay. It's like, oh no, that's the value of the work. No. You're being paid to work during this time. That's what the hourly rate is. This isn't contract work where you're paid per turn-in of product or whatever the contract stipulated, right?
Now, look, I detest this guy because he's playing Halo Infinite, but that might be... It might be smarter for the company to be like, okay, make it just because the tiniest incentives will, give people.
Yeah, give them a bonus for turning in work faster, and that,
I was getting paid for 7 hours and a half and doing 3 hours of work.
I bet he thinks he's bragging.
I think he does. I think he's like, aren't I so smart? When, dude, that is you robbing from your employer.
Yeah, and mate, if a potential employer sees this, he's not thinking the same way you are.
Yeah, I would never hire this guy, not in a friggin' million years.
I wouldn't because he's playing Halo Infinite.
And this went on for quite a few months, possibly even to a year.
A year he was ripping off his employer like that. I reckon the employee almost, with this admission, has a right to actually take him to court and get him to pay back all the money that he stole from them.
Yep.
Like, he has admitted that he got paid for nothing, and so they could actually take him to task and legally get him to try and pay it back.
Wonder who he worked for.
I don't know.
And I didn't really tell too many people.
See, that's the master. He didn't tell too many people, and especially his, managers or employees, I bet.
It was created as a way for me to essentially work less hours, be more efficient.
It was created as a way for me to slack off and get paid for nothing.
But he's thinking at it in such a selfish way. He said he's more efficient. No, you're not. You're not. Efficiency is energy expenditure for gain. You are expending less energy for
the same amount of output.
Exactly.
That's not being more efficient for the employee. That's just me finding time to slack off and get paid for nothing.
Yeah.
You lazy, lying dog crap. Like, I can't. And then he plays the victim.
Yeah.
Piss off.
And then he plays Halo Infinite. I can't stand this guy. I'm done with it. It's over. Oh my gosh. And then again, he uses AI as the boogeyman, scapegoat. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you have to apply skepticism to many of these claims. My jobs are taken to AI. And I know, look, it will actually take this guy, though, which is trying to grift off of, losing his job by making the scapegoat AI, right? He's full of it. Okay.
Is he progressive?
I don't know. But he's not a victim. There might be actually true, genuine victims that need more sympathy for losing their jobs. But again, you need to adapt. This the warning signs have been here for over a year now, right? I have been sounding a trumpet about it as well. There is a way to ensure your job survival going into the future. Graphic designers, artists, if you're here and you want to get commissions and work in the future, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
The technology is here. It's staying.
Yeah.
Okay? All right? All the legal recourses that people are thinking that will protect, no, that is dead in the water. Adobe has already integrated AI tools as a standard feature, and it's built off of completely open source and stuff that they have the rights for, right? Even though it is fair use to train AI models off of, publicly available images, those cases will lose in court. That's my prediction. I'm very confident it will.
Guaranteed.
They don't even have a course of action against Adobe Firefly or many of the newer stuff that's being made, right? It's impossible to stop it. It's already here, permanently integrated.
And yet he's acting like a victim of AI.
Yeah.
But he's not. And I know who is.
Who is?
Scarlett Johansson. Think about it for a second.
It's because of the movie?
No. Victim of AI.
She's suing.
No, Jennifer Lawrence wouldn't be a victim of AI because her photos are real. Anyway, and he's playing Halo Infinite, which makes it infinitely worse.
Infinitely worse. So there we go. Just another thing that's happening. Don't believe everything you hear. There are some people that do need sympathy, and I would encourage you guys, you do need to adapt. There is a way that you can ensure your way into the future. So
stay on watch.
stay on watch.